what an outstanding performance from Newcastle United. It's finished here at St James's Park. Newcastle United 1, Manchester City 1, and this is the last word. Yes, welcome back to the last word with alongside Lee Lawler. Birthday boy yesterday.
We always seem to play Man City on my birthday.
I know.
We never lose.
I know.
We'll do it all the time because last year it was a League Cup where we won.
Send them some birthday wishes in the comments as well. We've also got Charlie and Sam as well for an entertaining last word. It should be after an outstanding game of football, really good game of football between two very good teams. Lee, let's talk about the lineups. No, Alexander Isak didn't make it, didn't train on Friday either, so yeah, he's got a broken toe according to what people are saying. So was it the right decision not to have him involved and play on with an injection basically?
Well, we've seen it with Harvey Barnes last season. A broken toe can keep you out for how long was he out for, Sam? 4 months or something? 3 or 4 or something mental. Yeah, thank you. I hope it's not serious because if he can't play, I just don't like going up top. Wilson, as we know, with the injuries. So yes, obviously Isak was the big one. That's the worry. I don't think he'll play Tuesday either. But Tonali was back, and
how important was that?
I was delighted to see him start. It was just a matter of time. We all speculated when will he start getting a run of games. I think it needs to be now. I don't mind if he's rested for the League Cup fixture, but for Premier League, he now needs to be the linchpin. He has to start alongside Bruno and Joelinton.
Yeah, Sam, it was the case of the three midfielders that everybody wanted: Tonali, Bruno, Joelinton, and look, we'll probably go into more detail later on. But when you look at that Manchester City side, the midfield key was battle, in my opinion. You look at that midfield that Manchester City had; it's still a very good midfield with Kovacic, with Rico Lewis, with Ilkay Gundogan. Countless trophies amongst all three of them. But that was a midfield battle that, on paper, Newcastle could have a really good chance against.
Yeah, it was interesting that they matched us up from the start with the 4-3-3. I was expecting maybe Kovacic and Gundogan in there. I wasn't expecting Rico Lewis in there. I was expecting maybe 3 ahead of them. Tonali back. It just gives you that, when you see that midfield 3, it gives you an instant lift, and you're like, yes, finally, this is a world-class midfield. Yes, Joelinton's form's been a bit sketchy, but it hasn't been sketchy here. It's mainly been away from home. You look at the bench and it doesn't make you want to cry. There's still barring in up top. There's still plenty of options there, and Willock did fantastic when he came on as well. But yeah, it was a fantastic midfield battle. Tonali was the standout of all 6 of them, to be honest, and it wasn't close.
Yeah, we'll talk to more about our Italian magician, our midfield maestro. Last word is, are you okay?
I've been ill all week, haven't I, as you well know, but I soldier on. Give us a kiss.
Oh God, no, not this week.
Not when we've got lots of games.
No, very true.
No. Lee, first 10, 15 minutes, 20 minutes, particularly at St James's Park, it's been a case that Newcastle have been very, very exciting. And there was no different in the sense that high press, even in the first 2 or 3 minutes, Ederson's probably had more touches than he thought he was going to get in the first 2 or 3 minutes just by, being a nuisance, Gordon being a nuisance. But did Newcastle actually really take advantage of that? And particularly Jacob Murphy, if he was just had a little bit more composure, it's particularly on that right-hand side where we're having a little bit more joy, Newcastle could have created a little bit more. Yeah,
you're right in saying. I think Ederson's surprised how much of the high press, because we have complained that during the first few games of the season that kind of second half we don't do as much of it. Naturally, I get it. I totally accept that today for Manchester City. But the high press, he was worrying because a couple of times during that night he kicked the ball out. So and it causes issues, and I was quite pleasantly surprised by it. I was like, get it. But with Murphy, look, we know there's a problem with that right-hand side. I think Murphy actually done all right today, to be fair. I'm not going to...
No, he did.
I thought he did really well. I'm not going to criticise him, but it's a good, bright start. But then, Sam have talked about this as well. Naturally, we've seen Newcastle just drop off after that, after a good initial start.
It was a good initial start, but it's Manchester City. They're going to have large spells of possession, and Newcastle were going to end up being a counter-attacking team for parts of that game. However, Manchester City didn't really cause too many problems in that first half until the goal, which we'll touch about in a second. It was a case of they were getting a bit frustrated, and Newcastle were being a bit physical, which I think that's our best version of Newcastle United.
Yeah, the take no nonsense, rough them up, we're here to compete, kind of us against the world mentality. That's where we absolutely shined in that season. We finished 4th, and we got we've matched them up. We weren't overawed by Haaland, who's been on sensational form.
Not today. Not today. He's not.
No, but like strikers, it just takes 1 minute, 1 moment even, and but that moment didn't happen today. The point being is, Eddie Howe was very interested in his press conference yesterday about what he wanted and the focus. There's been a kind of bigger focus on training this week, and obviously no Wimbledon game, which now comes on Tuesday night, and you could see that the work ethic was back. The physicality was back, as you pointed out in your question, and it made life really difficult for Manchester City. Like you say, yes, of course they're going to have their moments, but even the likes of Lewis Hall was marking Haaland on corners, which was uncomfortable viewing, but we got away with it. But to a man, absolutely spot on today.
Yeah, they really were. And look, we don't want to say it was a matter of time, because I don't think it was. I'm not going to say that the goal came against the run of play. It was quite even. I don't think any team really got one foot past each other. Really, it was quite evenly matched. But a little bit of luck for Manchester City with I was going to say Haaland there, but Jack Grealish and Kieran Trippier. It just seems to ricochet into the direction of our goal, and Grealish finds Joško Gvardiol, who was still up on the attack, and he puts it away. He's a very underrated defender, really, because he's not really a left back. He's a centre half playing as left back, but.
I thought it was Gundogan that scored. No. I've only just found out now. I generally thought it was Gundogan that scored.
No, Gvardiol.
Couldn't tell. The build-up, I think Grealish just gets better of Trippier. I think he does him.
Do you think it's just a bit lucky?
No, I think he does him. I think he just does him, and it's because he's seen Trippier do this, and I honestly generally thought it was Gundogan who went on and scored. I've learned something new today, so it's a good job I'm not presenting this one, because I would have initially said Gundogan, but he took it well. Took it really well, 1-0 doing, and can he react to it? Don't go 2-0, because I think if they score again before half time, I think we'll lose the game.
Yeah, I think that was really important, and it could have been 2-0, Sam, because there was a little thing called a calamity at the back with Nick Pope, where he decided to go, right, I'm going to say this first, I don't think he needs to be there, because I don't know if it's Dan Burn or Fabian Schär, they had enough time to get that ball. I understand the position of the goalkeeper is going to be high anyway, but what happens after that? Ilkay Gundogan, of all players, making the wrong decision. He should have, gone a bit further up. Instead, he tries to chip the goalkeeper, and Nick Pope gets away with one.
He got away with one massively. I had a very good vantage point of that incident, actually, from where I was sat today.
What was your language like at that moment?
Well, we were in there. So Charlie is autistic. So today, for the first time, we were in the sensory room, which is a great initiative. I might do a video on it later in the week if you're interested. So we had a great day in there. It was our first time in there today, but obviously with I think there was about 10 people in there, maybe 12. No, the language was not there. To that point though, it was Byrne, I think, that was with him, and it was fortunate because, like you say, it was more Gundogan's.
Does Pope need to be there?
I had no issue with him being there. It was just a case of his distribution being poor, which is becoming more and more regular, which is a minor concern at the moment. It is becoming a major concern because, as we've seen today and towards the second half and the latter moments of the game, he's a tremendous shot stopper. He does still make the world of difference. But that was one he got away with.
Yeah, it really was. I think
he saved at the end, didn't he?
He did, and we'll mention that, and that's the the two halves of Nick Pope.
Just on the Pope thing, you say it's minor. It was serious because he put himself at the League Cup final. So we might not have got beat 2-0, might have only been 1-0, but you never know. Idea of Pope fit rather than Karius. But I just want to make that point. You need to cut it out because. It gives me Shea Given vibes.
Yeah, certainly.
Brilliant shot stopper, but not so good on his feet.
Yeah, just before we continue with the second half, because I know Sam and Charlie have got to head off. Charlie, who was your man of the match today?
Gordon.
Good lad.
He's so biased because Gordon's his favourite player. But to back up my kid's points, considering he's playing out of position through the middle, ran his absolute socks off. City couldn't deal with his press. Had Ederson worried quite a few times. My man of the match was Tonali. It's a well-deserved point, and onwards and upwards now.
We will see you on Tuesday.
Well, TBC.
TBC.
Paper, get in.
So Sam and Charlie are off. Yeah, we'll safe trip to them as they go all the way back to Staffordshire, which is a long way.
Now that one I'm driving to Portsmouth tomorrow.
I know, you've ruined it. That was the big surprise for afterwards. Let's move on to the second half, though, Lee. And no changes, which I was glad. I didn't want any changes. I think it was just a case we just needed to regroup at half-time more than anything. And Newcastle, again, I think started absolutely fine. And they were getting the little moments, but I didn't realise how quick Akanji was, because there was times where Fabian Schär had that ball and you think Gordon's got the pace. I know he's a little bit tight because he is running around a lot. I thought he's got the pace on Akanji, but Akanji just matched him. But again, Manchester City weren't causing us a lot of problems, really.
Again, I'll use the box analogy. If it's on points, it's probably even on the scorecard. Yes, Man City have gone 1-0. As I said before, I think it was important not to concede, because I think if we concede 2-0, I just don't see we're coming back. Naturally, you're expecting the press to drop off a little bit. It was still there at the beginning of the second half, which was pleasing, because Ederson again kicking the ball out of play. And then naturally, as the game went on, what's Eddie Howe going to do? Is he going to stick a twist?
Yeah, I think that was quite interesting as well, because, again, Pep Guardiola will probably look at it, do I stick or twist? What do I do? Because I'm 1-0 up, but I'm not really getting a lot of joy here. They've had one little bit of, you say...
I think you can tell. I think Rico Lewis looked a little bit lost today. I know he's really young.
He's neat and tidy, but is he what Man City want in their midfield?
Nah, you can tell there's not a De Bruyne in there. There's not a Rodri in there. Kovacic has played there for years. Yeah. But I think Rico Lewis looked a little bit out of depth today against our midfield three.
Yeah, we're going to discuss the midfield three in the second half of the last way, because it was absolutely outstanding to watch. But as Lee rightly says, Coventry's had a couple of chances which went well wide. No bother for Nick Pobin. Newcastle got their just rewards, really. I think they're defending well. Finally, they managed to get a little bit of something going forward, attacking wise.
Question for you before you ask me.
Go on then.
From the other end, because we're in the galley again, we haven't seen it back. I think Gordon wins us the penalty rather than Ederson fouls him.
I think it was, to be honest with you, at that moment in time, I thought, is he offside? And that's just a natural instinct, because City play a high line and Gordon's always on the edge. I'm always thinking, yes, if we've got the penalty, brilliant. And it is a penalty. It's a fantastic ball. I think it's Bruno plays the ball and Gordon is onside.
Gordon knows what he's doing.
Of course he is. And
he's waiting for the contact, isn't he?
He is, but he's got the pace to take the ball away and expect the contact. And I think, look, Ederson's fallen for it, literally, but it's the right decision, and he had a lot of confidence in that penalty. And again, I've just said in the match reaction with Sam there, he did everything on his terms, Lee, in terms of the psychology side of things. I'm waiting for Ederson to get online. I'm waiting for the goalkeeper, because I'm getting it into my zone. And then he sends Ederson the wrong way with a fantastic penalty.
But just before that, there was about 4 players around the ball, wasn't it? Yeah. So it was interesting to see, because obviously naturally it's Isak then Callum Wilson for the penalties, and who takes third. Now we know it's Anthony Gordon, but Fabian Schär's quite decent at them as well. Bruno's took 1 or 2 in his career as well. So there's a few clambering up and put him the wrong way, back in it. St James's Park started bouncing again, and I think overall, I know that was quite early on, but overall I think the draw is probably fair,
Yeah, I agree. I think it was deserved as well in terms of that equaliser.
It's the best we've played. Mm-hmm. It's the best, and I'm jumping ahead, but I think it's the best we've played. We've come on and we've said that we've got this amount of points and what have you, and how have we got this? Because we've played awful. Every game that we've played, we've been second best. I don't think we have today. I think we can say that it's even game today. Yeah,
certainly. Get your comments in on that as well. After that, Newcastle had a really good 10 minutes after the goal as well. Could have got another goal if it wasn't for the. I think it was. I'm trying to remember who was in that position. It was Jacob Murphy. Played a ball through to Gordon Barnes at the back post and just didn't really connect there.
Yeah, that was a bit of a ricochet one. Barnes was cut it back and Man City couldn't clear, but eventually did. And we're under the cosh a little bit there.
But it was again. It's the best bits of Newcastle United is when, not that they feel that they're up against it, but when they've got a little bit of momentum in the fans, and that was used with Tonali.
I think that's an actually enjoyable match to watch if you're neutral. I don't think it's a poor 1-1. I think it's a good, and even though there's not tons of chances, I think it's still an enjoyable match. Like you stick on the box and think that was a good game. That enjoyed that.
Yeah, certainly.
And Arsenal, if you're watching, thank you.
Yeah, we'll mention that in a second or two. But Manchester City made so still. Foden came on for Gundogan. Savinho came on, Doku came on. That was at 80 minutes when Savinho, Doku and Foden are coming on. I know Foden had a little bit extra time. You're thinking, can Newcastle get through this? Considering Livermento's just come on, Longstaff just come on, Willock's just come on as well. it's not that it's risky, but you're thinking, can Newcastle get over the line?
He's gone for it, and he's going with pace. And obviously at that time, Tonali had a bit of a knock. Trippier had a little bit of a knock. We'd done the triple, well, more or less a triple sub, didn't we? And then they did when Doku and Savino come on. I thought, yeah, we're gone. How can he cope with this? It's a totally different mind game because Grealish is more slow build-up play. He draws the foul in, doesn't he, a lot of the time? Whereas Doku was complete. He's like saint-maximin, isn't he? Come on, then I'll run it. Yeah, and I thought Livermore handled him really, really well. I think the defence was sensational. I know you're going to probably... We've heard Charlie and Sam say I'm torn between two defenders, but the defence were absolutely spot on. And I think that also credit Trippier before his injury because you can tell just the calmness and leadership that he brings to this back four is phenomenal.
What a fantastic replacement, Tino Livermore. As you quite rightly say, it took Manchester City to around about the 88th, 89th minute to really have a real go at Newcastle's goal, and that was from Bernardo's. Phil Foden had a chance where, for Phil Foden's standards, he probably should do better. He gets a little bit of space in the box, and the strike straight at Nick Pope, which a comfortable save.
Haaland had a few minutes later before the
Bernardo Silva.
Yeah, that was the big one, wasn't it? With Pope spatula on. Great save, a critical moment. Backhands in, will lose the game. We're not coming back, and it's a great save, and he's redeemed himself for coming flying out with his goal early on in the game. 7 minutes of injury time, which I don't get. I don't think they're more than 5, but 7 minutes. But Newcastle got over the line. They've got a point, and only 3 points behind Manchester City. I know a few people are going, "Will you shut up, man?" But yeah, look, it's a great point. It's a fantastic point. Eddie Howe will be delighted with that point and the team's efforts overall. Eddie, tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, well, I think we're happy with the point. I think you always want to win every game, but you have to respect the game and where we were in that game towards the end. We were hanging on a little bit for the point, but overall a great performance. Yeah, I think that was the main thing for us. We wanted to be ourselves, and I think you could see very early in the game we committed. It's very difficult to press them, but we tried, and I thought we had some really good success in both halves doing that. I think we played our way, which is the most important thing, and the players committed to it, and individually we were much better today. That was a much better performance, but it needs to be against this team. I think here it's the only way to play because we need the crowd, we need the energy, we need to disrupt good teams, and also we need to show our qualities with the ball, and I thought we had that as well today. So it wasn't just one-sided. I thought we gave them a problem in the wide areas in the first half, got into a lot of good crossing positions, probably didn't create enough from those crosses, but we were getting up the pitch, which is not always easy to do against Manchester City.
Thanks very much, Eddie. A great point. Let's talk about a few...
It's funny how we've just come out there dead quick to get that. Must have had a run in there.
Yeah, in and out. Let's talk about a few standout players. We could be here all day, but I want to start with Lewis Hall.
That's mine. That's one of mine.
Because with Lewis Hall, for me, we spoke before the game, I thought Bernardo Silva, as amazing as Bernardo Silva is,
he hasn't got legs.
He hasn't got legs, and I think that was better for Lewis Hall. If that was a Savino or a Doku, that would have been a bigger test in my opinion. However, with what he had in front in terms of Bernardo Silva, I thought he was outstanding. He really didn't give Manchester City much joy at all down that side.
Yeah, we've talked about the left back as a Kelly as a Hall. I think you'll probably see that the same as over on the right hand side. But if you're putting in performances like that against the Triple Crown champions of Europe just 2 years ago, and they might go on and win the Premier League again. I think it will be tighter this year though, especially with their 2 losses in centre midfield. But absolutely sensational, man. And even when Savino come on, he didn't get a look in as well. I thought Lewis Hall was brilliant. And England are not blessed at left back. If you look at it, Trippier's just retired and he had to play there in the Euros. And yes, you might say you've got Luke Shaw is probably number 1, but after that, Luke Shaw can't even stay fit, so you might be knocking on the door. Never mind under 21s, because he performed really well for them in the international break. He could go on and be a full international with displays like that. Unreal, man. But I want to shout out Dan Burn.
Well, that was my next point. I was going to talk about, because the 2 centre halves, everyone's talking about Haaland scored 10 goals in 5 games. Haaland's this, Haaland's that. Erling, where are you?
Well, I think
Dan
Burn looked after Haaland more than Shea.
Yeah. And it was a good battle, though. Really good battle.
It was fair, and he wasn't taking any strops or anything like that. Haaland, he's like, right, I'll forget about it, move on. I'll get another chance. That's his mentality. Didn't get any clear cut today. You had basically 1 or 2 that was straight at the keeper. First half, second half. Dan Burn wrestling with each other. It was absolutely just good old proper physicality British football. It's kind of been lost because there isn't many centre forwards nowadays. They're all like diminutive, small number 10s, and Haaland's like, well, he's like an Alan Shearer, isn't he? He's come on then. Fantastic. Dan Burn handled him spot on. Didn't put a foot wrong today. absolutely colossus at the back there.
He was, and Fabian Schär as well looked like he was injured since the 35th minute and put an outstanding performance. And again, as much as Emil Kraft's been outstanding, he doesn't have that Fabian Schär pass to get us into a position forward up the pitch where it benefited Murphy a few times, it benefited Barnes a couple of times, and even Gordon as well.
Even Trippier.
Yeah,
As I say, the back four would be brilliant.
Yeah, definitely. Right, let's talk about the midfield three, because this is where a lot of people will be thinking, wait, tell us about Tonali, Bruno and Joelinton. How good was it? Well, how good was it?
More passion, more energy, more passion, more energy. That's going to be clipped up. That's what Tonali was today. Little clever little things like getting his foot in when it was time right. Little touches, nice little short introvert ones. I've seen that at Forest away. I think he needs a run of games now. There's no point. Yes, the League Cup's different. I think there will be some changes. But for the Premier League now, he has to have a run of games of 3, 4, 5 starts on the hit. Because if you take them back out, it doesn't make sense. It really doesn't. He needs consistency in his game, and I think the flourish. I think that's just a sign of things to come. I really do. I think you can play him as a 6, an 8, or even a 10.
That's the best three, isn't it?
I think that on paper, yes, on form, all three. Joelinton has, as Sam said earlier, been a bit sketchy, but Joelinton was throwing himself around. At one stage,
I thought he was outstanding today.
I thought he was as well. At one stage, all three of them were booked. I thought, right, he's going to take 2 of them off. But interestingly, Willock was left wing because of obviously Barnes tiring out and Sean came on, but it's a good choice and it can get better because Lewis Miley obviously is going to come back into that as well. So I think we're really blessed. I think we're fortunate. And yes, people might criticise the likes of Sean Longstaff, but we're going to need Sean at times of this season. We're going to need Willock's energy. It's a great debate to have. Who was the best today? It just throws it up there.
I think Joelinton was brilliant when we needed it to be brilliant. Bruno got a lot more of the ball because Manchester City weren't man-marking him.
Bruno was awful at Fulham, I'll say that, because yes, he cost with the 3rd goal, but if you actually look at the runner, Smith Rowe's his
second
for his as well. Not many people have talked about that. So Bruno was a fault for 2 of them last week, but it's a good conundrum. It's what we need, because last season we had kids on the bench with all the injuries.
Well, I think today
Tonali for me.
I agree. I think Tonali for me. People have been saying just play him, play your best players. Whatever happened to playing your best players? It was Eddie Howe was probably just waiting for the right moment to go, right, I'm going to put you into this game. And maybe it was one game too much or 2 games too much in terms of maybe we could have had him at Wolves, could have had him at Fulham. But what he brings in is that level of experience, that level of game management, that level of just finding the right areas to pass the ball and to allow other players to get in positions where they need to be. And today he was absolutely phenomenal. And against, like I say, I know it's not the Rodgers De Bruyne is, but it's still Manchester City. That occasion, I said to you before the game, he's played in Milan derbies, he's played in the Champions League semi-final. A game against Manchester City at St James ain't going to phase him. It was a fantastic performance today.
It goes to show you when he's straight away, probably not really match fit, and he's called straight up to the Italian squad straight away. Starts both of them because of the quality. Yes, Barella and Tonali are probably the only 2 world-class midfielders that they've got in the Italian squad, but straight in that didn't surprise me massively, to be fair, because the Italian squad's not the same, but it goes to show you that they think still highly of him, and it's great problems to have, but no doubt come back here on Tuesday, it'll be Longstaff and Willock in that midfield, and one of them 3 will keep the place.
Yeah, we'll see what happens for that game on Tuesday. This is the Premier League table at around about 5-6 o'clock as Lee's editing this video. So Newcastle have 11 points, but we don't know where we are in the table, but you're seeing what we're saying as we're watching this video back. Look, 3 points behind Manchester City, and I'm not putting us in a title race or anything like that, but we're in the right sort of area in terms of, not too many points off the top, and we're in that cluster of maybe 6 or 7 teams. It's Everton next week. We said before the international break, Lee, 7 points from the 3 away games and the home game against Manchester City would be a good return. There's a chance for getting 7 points now.
Yeah, as I say earlier, the performances haven't been great. Today's different. Now, hopefully a lot of the national media talk about Newcastle today is being like, they put the foot in, they got around, energy, etc., etc. But sitting here, in contention with a Champions League place, that's where we are. The board want that. I know we'll talk about Darren Eales briefly in a moment, but that's what he said. The aim is to get European football. And let's just hope that the transfer window doesn't backfire on him at some point in, like, say, December. We've got a ton of games. But we've got the money to go again in January if we need to. If we can stay around the top 6 come January, we're in a really, really good position. So fingers crossed. And Everton, as I say, it's not an easy away tie, that one. We've got a 50-50 record down there, haven't we? But if Newcastle won Champions League football, they've got to beat the likes of Everton.
Yeah, I totally agree. Totally
But
agree.
also just touch on them as well after the Fulham defeat. How do you react to that? They got a reaction there.
Yeah, it couldn't have been any worse. Like this time last week, we were going, is this the real Newcastle United? Because it was absolutely diabolical last week at Craven Cottage. Wimbledon on Tuesday. The winner of that will take on Chelsea at St James's Park. So Tuesday will be an important game as well. So hopefully we'll get to see maybe some of the fringe players. But again, we need to win the game. Simple as that. Lee, just finally, you mentioned Darren Eales before. Really, really sad news. It came out of absolutely nowhere. Obviously, he's got blood cancer, which is awful, really awful. And again, everybody at Newcastle Fans TV would like to send their very best wishes to Darren Eales and his family, because it is, like I say, something that I don't know how you can really prepare for something like that. But with his positivity and his energy, and I can imagine he will absolutely overcome this, because you see him at the Stack in Japan, in Australia, or wherever, and he looks like he's one of the most positive guys out there. So again, we wish him all the very best in his recovery. And again, we'll maybe do a different video about who maybe comes in and takes over. But just on Darren Eales himself, he's been at the club 2 years. Obviously, he's in his notice period at the minute. But really, really sad news.
I think even Darren on the club's interview said the biggest thing that I think Darren Eales will look at it and think, look at the revenue that the club bringing out, more than double when he first come in. So I think that's what he'll have on his CV. I've met him a few times in Philadelphia, Tokyo. I've bumped into Newcastle as well. He was at the women's just last week, wasn't he? So really nice bloke. He has a pint with the fans, and Tokyo was mixing with all of us, having a bit of a laugh and a bit of a joke on. Yes, he has a serious head when it comes to serious decisions, of course, as well. Thoughts go out with him and his family, and I think it's at the early stages, which is a real positive as well, because he had said in the club interview he's got to start the treatment soon. And then obviously the club will look at it, and we can speculate till the cows come home who comes in, or if the Saudis want to bring their own man in, a bit similar to the Manchester City model. Who knows? But all of us at NFTV, from the socials to YouTube team, are with Darren Eales.
Yeah, certainly. Very nice words. Final question. Man of the match today?
Oh, can I say men of the match?
No.
I'm going to go Dan Burn because Haaland didn't score.
Yeah. Do you know what it is?
That shades it.
I really want to say Tonali. I really want to say Dan Burn.
And the good thing is, like Sam, Charlie have had theirs, I've had mine. You're torn. There's a lot of options.
There was Hall, man. There was Hall.
That shows you how well so many people have played.
I'm going to go Tonali just for Tonali. But again, if Dan Burn got man of the match, I don't know who got man of the match on TNT. But for me, I would have just about go Tonali.
Lindsay Hipgrave's presenting, so I'm sure she's had a bit
Yeah,
of a
I'm sure she's had a say. The Newcastle United fan, TNT. Main presenter for Premier League coverage. But that's about it today. We've got Wimbledon on Tuesday, but before that, good luck. A trip to Portsmouth. Not flying down, not doing whatever, you're driving early doors. But it's a big game for Newcastle United women. They obviously got their first win last week against Sheffield United women, but it's another big test, and we did beat Portsmouth at St James's in the Cup. Looking forward to your trip down?
Well, not the trip. Ferdinand's coming, my little dog. Meeting Dave and Lorraine down there, so I won't be on me Todd, thankfully. But yeah, today we've got the videos, we've got the women's as well. We're the only channel that go all the games as well, so this is the place to be. And then we'll do it all again on Tuesday for the men's. Wednesday, me and Johnny are back at Kingston Park to see how they get on against the WSL side. So a lot of stuff coming up in the next few days here on NFTV, and it's exciting. Yeah,
after Tuesday, it's double dose of Everton, the women on Wednesday, and then the men, of course, go to Goodison Park to take on Sean Dyche's Everton, who are in a bit of a sticky situation, the Toffees.
Well, we'll see who, because their owners are coming in, aren't they?
Yeah, hopefully it's after the Newcastle game anyway. Yeah. But yeah, get your comments in as well. Make sure you like and subscribe to Newcastle Fans TV. Who do you agree with? Am I right? Is Lee right? Is Sam right? Is Charlie right? Regarding the man of the match, and how good was it today? How good was it to have a game at St James's Park? It's been 4 weeks since the last game. It's been such a long time, but it's good to see some good football finally at St James's Park. But yeah, he'll be at Portsmouth, I'll be at Wimbledon, and we'll both be at Everton. Perfect. Again, like and subscribe to Newcastle Fans TV, and we'll see you all very soon.